Well, it's Friday and I typically like to take a pod system out with me along with my other vape just in case. So today let's look at the OneVape Lambo. Welcome to the Vapor Trail channel. I'm Tony. Today taking a look at the One Lambo. I guess One is the name of the company. This is the Lambo pod system, or all-in-one, however you want to look at it. And I guess the reason why they call it the Lambo is because they're fans of Lamborghinis and they made all of the lines and shapes kind of angled and cut kind of like a Lamborghini. So yeah, like a nod to the Lamborghini. This is the Lambo. So I've got two of these loaded up right now, and one of the reasons why is because they say in their directions that you can use either the nic salts or your standard liquid in here. So when they say that, I like to test them with both liquids because typically these nic salts, like this Crunch Time right here from Cali Vape Co., is a cereal treat with gooey marshmallow. You guys know I love this, and the Crunch Time berry. What I'm getting at though is typically the nic salts are like a 50-50 mix of PG and VG, so they're thinner, which often with the little tiny coils that are inside of these things is a good thing because, you know, the thicker liquids might not vape properly. So I'm testing them out. As a matter of fact, I've been using this one with the nic salt. Just loaded this one up this morning, so we'll see how that goes. And of course, Crunch Time berry, man, I vape so much of this stuff. And see, this is a 75% VG. So I've got a couple of pods here. You can buy the pods and I guess boxes of 2. Their pods are 2 mil. Go over the box here real quick. Yeah, I know it's kind of annoying that you got to put this warning on there, even if there isn't any nicotine in it, you know, because there's no actual liquid in it, but you know, hey, it is what it is. So the package has the device without pod. It's got 2 pods, a manual, and a USB cable. As always, they do warn you to let the pod sit for 5 to 8 minutes after refilling juice, or if the cotton is dry, in other words, a new pod or whatever. They're saying they suggest the pod to be changed to a new one after refilling 5 times. I say if the pod is still working, keep using it. Then once you take the sleeve off, here's the back of the box, pretty much the same thing there. It says One and Lambo Series. I think they meant series. There is a manual in here, but I mean, these things are so easy to use. You don't really need a manual. Just fill it and puff. However, it is nice to have the specs. I'll leave these up here for a second. If you want to read those, go ahead and pause it. 2 mil is what the capacity is on this. And the battery capacity is 360 milliamp hours, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I mean, it is a pretty tiny device and you're not pumping big wattage through low ohms either. There's a USB cable inside this box right here. Now, these little plugs right here, they're giving you extra plugs in the early kits, and they may still include them in kits to come, but they've actually changed since I got these, changed the way that the plug is in the bottom of the pod. They're actually going to attach it to the pod, which is a great idea because these things would be a little bit easy to lose. Get an extra pod, and I'm actually open this one up. One thing I like about their pods is look at the size of the cotton that's inside here. I mean, sometimes it's like, I can't even see where this thing's wicking from, but those are some really large wicks on there, and maybe that's why you're able to use standard liquid in it. Magnets and connections down in the bottom like you'd expect to see. It says One right here, and it's actually easy to see your liquid level in this, which is to me a big plus. Some of these things, it's kind of hidden, you don't even know. So on the version that I have right here, this little plug comes out. You see how it has a little flap right there? You just grab that little flap, pulls out. That's your plug. You fill it right there, and then you put your plug back in. They are attaching them in the subsequent pods that are going out, and probably for whatever retail you'll be able to see now, that's what you'll see. So apparently they're going to have different colors. This one is the rainbow edition, and boy, that's a bright one right there. Got kind of like a faux resin type looking thing on the side there. It says Lambo over here. So yeah, I mean, it's nice, but this sucker, man, fingerprint magnet. Look at this. Just a couple of touches on it, and woof, we're full of fingerprints now. And this particular one here is like a gunmetal, which is pretty cool as well. Like I said, it's got all the angles on it, kind of, you know, Lamborghini-ish. So they called it the Lambo. It's got a little lanyard thing right here. And from what I understand, they're also going to sell little chains and stuff, kind of like the Me One. You've seen those things everywhere. You just put that on there and the chain or lanyard would go around your neck. Where it says One right here, that's actually a light. Yeah, an LED light, and it lights up when you're vaping it. See if I can show you. Yeah, pretty cool. Look, it's tiny and it works pretty darn well. I mean, you know, pod systems are all very similar. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta, you know, look at them and say, that one looks cool. I kind of like that. And I can tell you that this one does vape really well. What I haven't tried yet is this one right here, where I've got that standard liquid in it, and I'm about to try that now. Oh, I should point out that the USB is right here on the side of it. So you can actually stand these up. They don't stand up great, but you can stand it up and plug it in and charge it if you need to. And since the battery isn't huge, they charge pretty quickly. So that's the OneVape Lambo. It does kind of have that Lambo look to it. You know, Lamborghinis have all those kind of hard edges and they're kind of angled and stuff like that. So I can see the inspiration for that. It's nice and small. The battery is average battery size for a pod system like this. Really easy to see how much liquid you have left in this, which I really like. And when you fill it, those wicks, they're sticking out of both sides. And one of them is right below the fill hole. So that's automatically getting liquid on there. You do have to let these things sit if it's a brand new pod. You know, you don't want to have a dry wick because you're just going to burn it and you'll waste the pod. But it's kind of cool having that wick right below that so it does get wet quicker. All right, so that one is the one that I have Nick salts in. Of course, we know that's going to work, right? Because all these pod systems work well with that. 20 milligrams is all I've got in this Nick salt. This is the Crunch Time from Cali Vape Co. Flavor is good. It's not the best flavor I've had from a pod, but the vapor and the way that it works, I mean, it seems very reliable. It works really well. And let's face it, if you're using salts, you're really not going too much for flavor anyways, right? As long as it doesn't taste bad, you're good. So this one right here is the Berry Crunch Time, and it's standard liquid inside this one. And they did say that you can use standard liquid. I can tell that it's thicker just by looking at the way the liquid rolls around inside there. This one goes real quickly. This one, it's nice and slow because it's thick. I've actually been using this one for about the last hour. I filmed the up-close stuff a little bit earlier. And it's keeping up, and that's the thing. When it comes to thicker liquids, these things, usually the coils are very small. They're not able to handle that thicker liquid without it. It just doesn't wick properly, right? Well, this one seems to be keeping up, and to me, that's a big positive. If you can put your regular liquids in here or your salts, I like that quite a bit. The battery life on these is average for a pod system. You know, I've been using the other one for a little while. When I say average, it doesn't really last any longer or shorter than most of the pod systems that are out there. If you like the style and the way these things look, the fact that you can see your liquid real easy, use either liquid or whatever, might be worth a try for the OneVape Lambo. I will tell you though that the salt does work a little bit better. It seems to flow a little bit better, so I'm thinking that the wicking and everything is working better as well. No leaking on this one. I've been using this for over a week. Well, listen, it's Friday and it's Beer 30. I'm gonna get on out of here. I want to thank you so much for everything here on the channel. Your likes, comments, shares, subscriptions. I really do appreciate them. And if you like what you see, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a red subscribe button down there. Go ahead and click that. If you think you're subscribed, just check the button. If it's gray, you're good. If it's red, you're not subscribed anymore. So I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that again. Check out the links for Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. If you have one of those, I'd appreciate a follow. There's also links down there for advocacy. So important, the advocacy links. Please check those out. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.